everybody. Hey Wes. I assume Julie's with you too. Chrisanne, hey. I jumped on a little late tonight. Normally I have more than a minute to get everything going. Grove's in the house, I love it. But I'm probably just gonna get started here in just a few seconds. If you have them, blocks handy, please. We are going to do that typical every facet of the hip opening tonight. So blocks will be helpful for our frog and our dragon. Little housekeeping item. Normally I have somebody watching my dog, but my husband is gone this evening, so Barkley is here, so he may make an entrance, just to let you know. Give you a little advance warning if I'm like, get out of here. It's just the dog. But with that being said, let's find ourselves coming onto our mat, finding a comfortable place. Whatever pose feels good for you tonight, whether that's seated or on your back, kneeling, standing, whatever it is. Just allowing whatever the day, the week has brought you so far to simply sit outside of the four corners of your mat. To just start to bring your awareness to your body. Whether that's noticing the sounds, noticing the sensations on the skin. Maybe if your eyes are open, just observing the space around you. And then we'll slowly begin to walk some of that closer into ourselves. So maybe that starts by sealing the lips and just beginning to notice the breath going in and out of the nose. Maybe taking that outward sensation of the skin and starting to take it inside the body. Noticing those places that maybe need a little attention tonight. Maybe you begin to take that sound inside and notice if you can hear your heartbeat. Maybe closing the eyes and just noticing the breath as it goes in and out. I want to share a brief reading with you as we find this place on our mat about the difference between habit and ritual. Though habit and ritual are sometimes thought to be the same, there's a difference between them. A habit is an action or a behavior that we repeat, often mechanically, out of convenience or comfort. A ritual, on the other hand, is an action that we consciously choose to repeat with awareness and intentionality. While habits are rote, rituals are mindful. They actually create and hold meaning. Today, begin to develop your awareness of your habits so you can decide whether they serve you. Retain them if they do, and discard them if they don't. Also, begin to consider how you can establish rituals that consciously create meaning in your life. In doing so, you honor what is significantly beautiful and worthy of your attention. With everything going on in our lives right now and how we might be home more than usual, maybe we notice that our habits are changing. What a perfect opportunity to create new ones. With that, bringing yourself to that comfortable cross-legged seat if you aren't already there. Feeling those sits bones root into your mat, into the earth, finding length growing out of the spine. We'll inhale, finding nice long length in the neck, pulling that crown of the head up toward the sky. And then as we exhale, right ear will fall over to the right shoulder. Continuing to breathe in and out of the nose, maybe noticing as if you breathe through this pose, you can send the breath deep into that lower belly region. Your next inhale will lift the crown of the head and allow that left ear to fall over to that left shoulder. Keeping those shoulders down away from the ears though, finding length in that right side of the neck here. Inhale lifts the crown of the head. As you exhale, allow the crown of the head to fall toward the back of your room, lifting the gaze up toward the sky. Maybe even open the mouth, allowing the jaw to stretch open that front side of the neck. Inhale lifts the gaze. Exhale takes that chin down in toward the chest, taking that crown of the head facing toward me, opening up the back side. Inhale as you rise. This time we'll find that awakening in the spine as we inhale, sweep the arms up toward the sky. Exhale, right hand behind that right hip, left hand on that right knee as you twist open. Gazing back over that right shoulder. Inhale comes through center. Exhale, take that twist over towards that opposite side. Draw that neck over that left shoulder. We're finding not only a spinal twist here, but we're finding that movement in the neck that we didn't do when we tilted our neck in both directions. We'll inhale, sweep the arms. Right hand comes down, left fingertips reach over to the right. Pull that left shoulder back, open the chest. Breathe. Inhale as you rise. Take it over to the opposite side. Pull that right shoulder back, lifting up, allowing that heart space to shine up toward the sky. Inhale as you rise, taking both the fingertips up nice and tall, pull the shoulders down away from the ears, and then we'll release the hands behind us, fingertips in toward the hips, finding that slight back bend, opening up the chest. Maybe the crown of the head falls towards the back of the room. Slowly allow the crown of the head to begin to lift as you come up onto those fingertips, walking those hands out in front of you, walking them toward me. As I walk toward you, we'll find that forward fold, awakening the spine and all the 6 movements that we can take it in, gluing those sits bones to the earth. And then slowly walking the fingertips back in toward your body. We'll find ourselves coming into a tabletop space from here. So hands are gonna come beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, hips distance apart. Finding just a few cats and cows, that final movement and a spinal awakening that we'll take here. Lift the tailbone, drop the belly, and lift the gaze. Exhale, tilt that tailbone down, lift the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, and then let the head hang heavy. Moving through this pose, allowing your spine to move in whatever direction feels nice for you tonight. Just noticing how the breath can control the body. And then we'll come back through neutral, in that neutral space, finding ourselves setting up for that first yin pose. We'll take the right knee to the right wrist, pull it up, take that chin, if I could think of the word, and allow yourself to fall over onto that right hip. We're setting up for deer pose. Left knee will come in toward that right foot. So hips are facing forward, nice tall upper body. What we'll do is we'll find ourselves walking forward over this right shin. So hands can come down to the mat. You can stay right here if the stretch feels really nice. Maybe coming down to the forearms if that feels good. If you have a block or a pillow, maybe finding a place to rest the forehead as we begin to find ourselves settling in for that 3 minutes. Thinking of those 3 yin principles. We're finding the pose. We're finding the 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. That yin edge, that sweet discomfort, if you will, where we can find that connective tissue to begin to stretch. And then once we find that place, that 5, we challenge ourselves to find stillness for time. so many people look at yin yoga and say, I don't like that. I don't feel like I get anything out of it. Well, I encourage those people to take an actual class and notice the challenge that comes with it. That sweet discomfort, that 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, where you have to just sit there. The calming of the mind and noticing of the breath. The challenging of that monkey mind to stop running around all day and telling it, no, I need that mind to be here in this present moment. Taking this moment to notice the breath. Are you breathing out of the nose? Where is the breath traveling to? If you can, maybe you start to find length in the breath, maybe counting to 4 or 5 on that inhale. Matching that exhale with that same count. Just 1 minute left here in this pose. Maybe you use this final minute to sink in just a little bit further. Take an inhale through the nose, exhale it out the mouth as you slowly begin to rise back up. We'll take that left leg, help it around, swing it out. Maybe take that windshield wiper where you allow the knees to fall to one side and then the other. Maybe you find that seated cat and cow where you round everything in, giving yourself a squeeze and then releasing it out. And then when you are ready, we'll set up for that opposite side. So this time that left shin was going to come up to the front of the mat, running parallel here. That right leg will come back, thinking about those hips squaring forward nice and straight. Finding length in that upper body, and then getting ready to set ourselves up. We'll begin to walk ourselves forward, coming into maybe that sleeping deer pose. Taking these first few breaths to find that place where you can settle in for time, that place of stillness. And without judgment here, maybe you take a moment and observe if this side feels different from the other. Maybe it felt really good to immediately lay right down here. Maybe you got halfway down and you were like, oh dear. That's okay. Just listen to what the body is saying. Noticing the breath here. Noticing if you continue to find that length. Just noticing again without judgment if it takes a lot of work to keep that length, or if eventually your body just starts to breathe deeper and longer. Over halfway through this side. Noticing if there's places in this pose that you can maybe soften that don't need your attention. Maybe it's in those fingertips, wiggling them out. Maybe it's those shoulders, or just allowing gravity to take the chest closer toward the floor. We'll take an inhale through the nose. Exhale it out the mouth as you slowly begin to rise back up. We'll swing that right leg around, finding those windshield wipers. Maybe it's just a wiggle out of the legs, sending them out nice and long in front of you. Maybe it's taking just that little bit of pelvic tilt. Maybe it's folding in, reaching toward the toes, saying hello to the backs of the legs. Next 3 breaths are for you and what feels good in your body. No rush to get there, but we'll meet in a tabletop pose when you are ready. Coming back here, hands beneath the shoulders, knees below the hips. We'll get ready to set up for our frog pose. So if you have a blanket, blocks, pillow, rolled up towel, whatever it is, you're gonna begin to walk that underneath you. We're gonna use these to support us so that we can hold the chest up as we really send that energy into the hips. As we take a look down at the palms, we'll notice that they're beneath the shoulders, and what we'll do is we'll begin to bend the arms, bringing the elbows down to where the palms are. And then we'll begin to adjust those blocks where we find comfortable, whether under the chest or running along the sternum. And then when you are ready, keeping the hands, the arms right where they are, we'll begin to walk the knees away from each other, coming into this wide leg frog pose. So pressing the knees to the outer edges of the mat, getting our timer set, taking these first few breaths to notice what feels good. If we get the knees nice and wide and we're not feeling it, there's the option to lower the block or the blanket or whatever you have underneath you, or you can simply take the toes out to the outer edges of the mat and you're gonna send that stretch deeper. Something to be said about frog pose is that maybe initially when we sink into it, we're like, this is tolerable, I can do this. And we spread the knees really wide and we take the feet out, and then as we round, 40 seconds in, our body starts to tell us, okay, we're stretching now. So maybe it's the first minute of this pose that will be here for 4 minutes that you kind of explore this space. And then for the next 3 minutes, which starts now, really focus on finding stillness. If frog is not your favorite, then challenge yourself to stay still for the next 180 seconds. If frog is your favorite, then maybe you find a way to maybe expand the pose, push that edge. Regardless of where you are or how you feel about this pose, notice the breath. Continue to breathe in and out of the nose. About halfway there. The mind begins to wander and goes someplace else, maybe you bring it back to the mat and you bring it back to our message for the evening and notice rituals versus habits. Maybe taking a few breaths to focus on what habits you've created as part of your quarantining at home. Maybe thinking about if you've created any rituals, maybe participating in online yoga classes. "75 seconds. You could do anything for 75 seconds. Relax the jaw. Let the face soften. See if you can soften into the shoulders. Maybe you even allow that chest to melt on top of whatever's holding you up. Slowly begin to slide that prop, whatever is underneath you, out from underneath you, and then we'll begin to crawl forward. So we're going to begin to move that upper body down onto the mat, leaving the legs nice and wide. We can stay up on the forearms, or we can melt the forehead down onto the tops of the hands. Staying in this pose for just a moment longer. We'll take an inhale through the nose, and as we exhale it out the mouth, we'll begin to slide the legs together, allowing the inner thighs to come back in toward each other, maybe pointing through the toes, and then bringing the elbows beneath the shoulders, spreading the forearms out long on the mat, finding a Sphinx pose. So neck is nice and long, shoulders down in their sockets, finding just that slight baby back bend here. Breathing into this space, knowing the challenge when we take those inhales through the nose and we send them deep into the belly, it presses into the floor, almost as if we're breathing into our lower back here. Option for the last 30 seconds of this space. We're not making this a yin pose tonight, but if you'd like a little more, you can find a seal where you'll press into the fingertips, lifting the arms, straightening them out, lifting the crown of the head, really deep back bend here. So knowing if you're feeling a really intense sensation that maybe is more discomfort than anything, feel free to lower back down into that Sphinx. If you found that seal pose, go ahead and lower down. We'll slide the hands back beneath the shoulders, pressing them into the earth as we lift the upper body up. Big movement here as we press all the way back into a child's pose. So we'll keep the knees closer together if we can, forehead down to the mat, reaching out long, rounding in that lower back that we just put so much emphasis on. Breathing. And there's Berkeley. We'll walk the fingertips over to the right, stack that left hand on top of the right side bend. I know, buddy. Is somebody here? Walking those fingertips through center, and then we'll walk them off that opposite side of the mat. Finding that side bend on the opposite side. walking those fingertips back through center. We'll rise back up, finding that tabletop space. Taking a moment here for cats and cows, maybe barrel rolling that chest, finding that snake-like movement in the spine. And then we'll find our blocks handy if we have them, as we'll begin to set up for our final yin pose. Don't let that fool you, we're not even close to being done, as we're finding our way into dragon. We're gonna spend some time here, so we're gonna help that right leg up in between the hands. Press those toes out a little bit further than the fingertips. If you'd like, you can inchworm that left leg back, just maybe an inch or two. Don't go too far, and you'll see why in a little bit. And then we'll begin to lift ourselves up into this high dragon. If you've been in my classes before, you know that dragon comes in 3 parts. The first part is about a minute, second part is a minute, and the last part is 3 minutes. So we're finding this tall dragon right out the gate. Maybe we come up nice and high, lifting the shoulders, lifting the crown of the head onto the fingertips on those blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. Maybe we would softly rest the hands on the thigh. Breathing. Noticing where you're feeling the stretch right now, knowing that that will change as we move through this pose. Coming into our second minute, we'll go ahead and take that block from the outside of that right foot and bring it onto the inside. Maybe we toe heel that right foot out just a little bit. So you can stay here on this high level if you'd like, or maybe you begin to sink a little bit deeper into the hips and lower the blocks down just a level. Remembering you can use a pillow, a blanket, a stack of towels, whatever feels good for you. Finding length here, noticing that we've told the hip hello a little bit more, sending some more sensation into this space. And then the best part of dragon is here. We can lower the blocks all the way down if we'd like. We can set the blocks off to the side, coming down onto the palms. We can bring the blocks back, finding ourselves coming onto our forearms. Just allowing yourself the first maybe 20 seconds of this pose to find that space, knowing that it will be intense. Remember that you want your 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, so don't go too deep. Don't cause pain, but find that place where you're feeling that stretch down the left side. You're probably feeling it in the right hip as well. Find that place where you can settle in. You can breathe. And you can focus on stretching the space and finding stillness. Through all of that, we're already a minute into this final phase, 2 minutes to go. If you're anything like me in dragon pose, you might be clenching the teeth. Soften the jaw, let the tongue pull away from the roof of the mouth and just sit in that space. Let the face relax, the eyes can close here. Let that third eye space, that space in between the eyes, relax, unfurrowing the brow. And just like that, 1 minute left, 60 seconds. See if you can find complete stillness. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale it out the mouth as you slowly begin to rise back up. If you have the blocks handy, maybe they travel back with you as we bring the hip back over that left knee. We'll keep that right heel right where it is. Pull the right toes in toward the face. Option to stay nice and high. Hinge at the hips, folding in over that right leg. Or if you want to take it back, you can sink the hips back over that left heel. We're just finding a half splits here. Just saying hello to the back of that right leg. And then when you're ready, you'll begin to walk yourself forward, pressing back down into that right heel like you were pressing into a gas pedal. And then a big movement here will help that right leg back to find the left, finding that tabletop space, shaking out the hips, maybe barrel rolling the chest or a cat or cow or two. Taking this moment of gratitude for the fact that we have both sides to do. We have two strong hips that we're able to stretch. And then when you are ready, we'll step that left leg up and through, adjusting so those toes are out further than the fingertips, maybe inchworming that right knee back just a bit if you're so inclined, and then we'll begin to rise up. Taking our moment here to start our timer. Nice and high, finding that upper body length. Breathing here. Noticing where the mind is. Has it gone someplace else? That's okay. Let it come back to your room. Slowly bring it back. Maybe noticing what's happening in the room that you're in. Maybe like me, you have a dog running around somewhere. And then bring it to the four corners of your mat. Maybe noticing what parts of your body are connecting with your mat. And then noticing your mat, we'll take that left hand from the outside of that left foot, bring it to the inside of the left foot. We could stay nice and high if you'd like, or we'll take this next minute to maybe warm ourselves up for coming down a little bit lower, maybe lowering the blocks or whatever is holding us up. And from that awareness from the mat, we'll take the awareness inside. Noticing the breath, noticing where we're feeling the stretch in this pose. Maybe noticing how this pose makes us feel. I know I say it in every yin class, but we hold a lot in our hips, a lot of emotion, a lot of experiences. So sometimes when we tell ourselves we have this space to sink into, our bodies are like, no, I don't want to do that. Breathe through that. And then allow yourselves these next few moments to maybe rid yourselves of the blocks. Or maybe find yourself coming to that space, whether it's still on the blocks or maybe on the palms or the forearms on the blocks, to find this final phase of our dragon pose. Just 2.5 more minutes here. So just like the other side, I invite you to find stillness. Take the challenge of this pose. Stretch into that connective tissue and stay for time. Two minutes left. I'm going to find a challenge here on my left side, a place where I usually don't find forearms, but I'm going to come down onto blocks on forearms here. Just noticing how my body feels about it. Telling myself for the next 90 seconds I will stay still. I figure if I say it out loud and you guys hear it, then I have to hold myself accountable to that. Close your eyes. Just a few more breaths. Thinking about lengthening out that breath. Matching the inhales and the exhales. Maybe the exhales are even slightly longer because you're letting it all go. Take an inhale through the nose. Let it go out the mouth as you slowly begin to rise back up. We'll take those blocks for a journey with us if we'd like, as we find that half splits on the opposite side, knowing that there are variations to this pose, so it can be sinking the hips back or it can stay nice and high, pressing that chest and that belly toward the top of that left leg, saying hello to the back of the left hamstring. Slowly begin to walk yourself forward, pressing down into that left foot. We'll help that left leg back. Big movement here to find that tabletop space. Taking these moments to just take a few cats and cows or take that barrel roll. Moving through what feels good for you. Maybe even press back and stretch the bottom of the feet. 3 more breaths and we'll meet on our backs. Coming all the way down, the back of the head, the shoulders, the back side of the body, the hips, the soles of the feet, finding the mats. We'll bring the knees in toward the chest, giving ourselves a squeeze, maybe rocking side to side, massaging that lower spine. Then we'll take both the feet up toward the sky, finding a candlestick pose. Pull the toes in toward the face. We'll bend the right knee, bringing that right ankle above the left knee, so above as if we were standing, finding a figure 4. We'll soften into that left leg. And then maybe we take that right hand through that keyhole we've created, pull that left thigh in towards us, finding that reclined pigeon stretch in the right thigh, right hip. Releasing that bind, we'll go ahead and allow the legs to fall over to the left, finding a twist here. If having these pigeon legs does not feel comfortable to you, that's quite all right. Go ahead and just find that typical twist where you stack the knees. Arms can come into cactus arms or into a T. If it feels good for you and you'd like it, you can gaze over the right shoulder. Not required. Just simply breathe. Bringing those legs back through center. We'll unwind that right leg. Send both the feet up toward the sky once more. Finding that candlestick pose. Maybe rubbing the backs of the hamstrings just to say hello. And then we'll bend that left knee, crossing it over the right. Softening into that right leg. Finding that keyhole as we pull that right leg in. Stretching through that left hip. Releasing that bind, we'll go ahead, take the arms out to that goal post or to that T, and then we'll allow the legs to fall over to the right. Remembering here that option to keep those pigeon legs, or you can stack the knees. Do what feels comfortable on the neck. Just remember to breathe. Be present in your body. Lifting those legs back up through center, unwinding that left from on top the right. Take that candlestick one more time. And then bringing the knees in toward the chest. We'll give ourselves a squeeze, maybe even lifting the nose up toward the knees, finding ourselves in that smallest space we've been all day. And then releasing the head down. We'll release the arms alongside the body. Right foot will find the right corner of the mat. Left foot will find the left corner. Arms can stay long here. Maybe one hand finds the heart and the other finds the belly. Don't leave me now. Spend these last few moments in Shavasana with me. Finding that backside connecting into the earth. Letting go of anything that no longer serves you. Releasing the jaw. Letting the eyes sink heavy into their sockets. And letting yourself sink in to your well-deserved yoga rest in Shavasana. Slowly begin to bring awareness back to your body. Maybe that starts just by lengthening out the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Roll the wrists and the ankles. Rock the head from side to side. And then we'll zip the legs together, pointing through the toes, lifting the arms up overhead on the mat above you, pointing through the fingers, finding that longest space you've been in all day. We'll take an inhale through the nose. Let it go out the mouth. And bringing the knees in toward the chest, finding that tiny little ball. We can begin to find that front to back rock and roll, that childlike movement until we rock ourselves bigger and bigger and bigger until we rock all the way up into a comfortable seat. Finding those sits bones coming into the mat, coming back to the space where we started our practice this evening. Noticing what has changed, noticing what we no longer need. Thinking about habits and rituals where we started our class tonight, and knowing that maybe yoga has become your habit or ritual. Maybe this online community has become your place, your new thing. And for that, we are grateful. And if you'd like to continue to support us, we have many options. We have amazing clothing items and tote bags for sale on our page, as well as the option to make a donation on our Mind Body page. Every little bit helps during these rough times, knowing that we will be back together someday in person and we will be able to practice together. On that note, we'll bow our chins in towards our chest, showing gratitude. Gratitude for this virtual community. Gratitude for these beautiful bodies. Gratitude for the fact that you just spent the last 45 minutes in a yin practice. And most importantly, gratitude for this breath. As you inhale, lifting your chest, allowing your light to shine. Knowing that the love and the light and the strength within me honors, so humbly bows to that same love, light, and strength within each of you. I'm so thankful that you were able to practice with me tonight, and I so look forward to the time that we can see each other once again. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. I truly appreciate you coming and hanging out with me and allowing Barkley to be that little spice of our practice tonight. I hope you all have a great evening. Bye.